Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Trade the Chain. It is April 19th, and we're glad you're joining us. Quick reminder, because we do not edit these videos. If you haven't subscribed, try to click the subscribe button. I don't think it's broken. And Hulk that like, as
Hulk it.
Ryan Gorman likes to say. Joined with the best hair in crypto, Ryan Gorman, along with CJ Amonte, crypto analyst from marketrebellion.com. And we are, today's episode, we're going to talk about what's going on. Again, another day, everybody opens up their crypto apps, is a little depressed. Their holdings are still down. But listen, CJ called it, and we're going to discuss what he called and when. And he's going to shake his head no, but he did. And he's been telling you folks all week that this is one of the possibilities. So without further ado, Ryan, take us away.
Thanks, Alex. This is just a reminder that all content provided by Trade the Chain and Market Rebellion is strictly for educational, informational purposes only. None of this is investment advice. Not a single word of it. Do not listen to us. Trade the Chain is brought to you by TradeTheChain.com, a global 24/7 community of traders of all ages, all abilities, all backgrounds, and all using AI-driven sentiment indicators and actionable alerts to help you beat the market. If you too want to trade like a crypto insider and you're not yet a member, check out TradeTheChain.com.
And then moving over to marketrebellion.com/crypto. This is myself and Monty and our community at Market Rebellion. And with us, you get exclusive access to trade ideas on a weekly basis. That's entries, exits, stop losses, and updates, as well as access to our macro portfolio allocations, a pro charting platform, and a trading education curriculum. So if you're serious about trading crypto, this is the service which gives you everything you need all in one place. You can start your first month trial for just $1 at marketrebellion.com/crypto. Exits, entries, stop losses, everything you need to get started trading crypto. And then moving over to Trade the Chain dashboard, everything's still long-term bullish. It's interesting to see that the long-term sentiment is virtually unaffected across the board. Bearish sentiment on the shorter term timeframes because I feel like the market is just holding its breath right now. Is this the end of the line? Oh my goodness. What do you gents think?
There's blood in the streets today, CJ. It was an exciting weekend, right? I mean, we got a little glimpse into the excitement. And the way I see it, like, unless you were one of those traders with levered longs that got wiped out by these whales that kind of, took the opportunity to dump a little bit, I think this has just provided a great buying opportunity. I would love to see the comments after this video, but I'm sure if you look in the comments, plenty of people in this community bought the dip. So I think that's encouraging. And, I think this is just a natural thing that happens when people get over exuberant about the price of Bitcoin. There are a lot of people, myself included, that didn't really think that price was going to go back below 60K once we broke out. But now that we have, I think there's just a great buying opportunity for a lot of people that, missed the bus the first time around. So it's been a rough day, but you got to take the silver lining.
Well, it was surely an early lesson in crypto trading for all the newcomers who came in via the publicity around the Coinbase IPO. This is what happens, and this is what you need to get used to. But listen, I agree with you, Monty, 100%. I think from the comments I see here and elsewhere and in our community, it is people just looking for buying opportunities on coins and projects that they missed prior because they thought it was too high at the time or thought they missed the boat. So yeah, absolutely. Ryan, what do you think?
I think it's notable that we talk a lot about how weekends have light trading volume and retail kind of dominates the crypto space, right? Which it does to an extent. An institutional only exchange, LMAX Digital, they're the second largest in the world by volume, second only to Coinbase. They had $3.2 billion in trading volume yesterday. They don't have a single retail client. So I'm wondering if this is potentially the beginning of institutions waking up to the opportunities present on weekends and potentially moving past, bankers' hours and trading, full time, like crypto markets allow them to. So, I mean, that was compelling to me. I don't know how the rest of you feel about it.
Well, it would be great to get rid of these Sunday, Monday weekend blues that we've been facing, for the last however long months. I'd like to start off the week fresh and exhilarated for once instead of down and worrying, as we go through the week. But I listen. One of CJ, what are you looking at in Bitcoin? And since he's not going to tell us, Ryan, tell the folks what CJ his analysis on one of his downside positions was all week last week. What he was telling everybody.
Sure. So I mean, it was easy to make the bull case, point to the bull flags that we were seeing across numerous charts, and say we're going to move higher from here. And this weekend was a freak occurrence. People sold the rumor on a tweet that went out with no real attribution to any news outlet, to anyone credible, to any government agency, talking about how the U.S. government is potentially investigating financial institutions over their use of crypto to launder money. And that just kind of sent the markets into a tailspin. And when I asked CJ, he had been talking about it. He mentioned it a handful of times last week. But when I asked him, let's say the markets don't keep going up, what happens in the event that we have a bit of a pullback? And he said, based on his technical analysis, that we'd go to 51K. And I think we netted at it like 51.5.
Oh yeah,
it started somewhere around there.
Scary. It got scary there for a sec, Ryan. I'm not gonna lie, I was hanging onto my handlebars and trying to avoid the honey holes.
I mean, I think CJ was once again spot on. He didn't necessarily predict the markets would tank, but he said if they do, here's where I expect them to go. And we should find the price floor right here. And sure enough, he was within a few $100s of that's I couldn't do that.
I bet you, but this tweet also came out. It was so abrupt and so not even expected. Now we have to turn to Mr. Short and be like, Mr. Short, did you get your short on? Or was this something that was so out of left field, there was no way to anticipate it?
Yeah, no, I didn't get my short on for this, but it was pretty out of left field. But, Ryan makes a good point. There were some news related events that kind of, although they weren't necessarily that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things, the whales kind of used them to fear monger and drive price down because, like I mentioned earlier, there was just a lot of irresponsibly levered longs beyond 60K. So once price dipped below 57K, it was just complete carnage. And, there wasn't really any time to go short because it happened so quick. The move down to 57K literally took less than an hour. And once it hit 57K, those longs got liquidated and that moved to 51.8 or wherever we went. It happened so fast. So, as much as I love to short the market when I get the chance, this just happened so quick. All I could think about was buying the dip. And fortunately, I was able to do that.
What's funny, though? Not funny, but I got lucky. And sorry to cut you off, CJ, but on Friday, I made an executive decision to pull my initial capital, my principal, out of digital assets. And now I have nothing but profit left in the market. And I just got lucky. Sometimes you're better lucky than good. And this was just one of those dumb luck things where it wasn't even that much money. But I'm lucky. And now everything I have left in my crypto accounts is just profit. And I'm much more easily able to stomach it going up and down and swinging because I'm playing with house money right now. I don't care.
Okay, I'm glad you clarified that, Ryan, because at first I thought you said you sold all your crypto again. And I'm not sure I can stomach the comment section every time.
No, I had a plan. I was going to pull out my principal at a certain point. And, we have some things in our personal lives, Alex, where I needed a little bit more wiggle room. And I decided this was the time to do it. And I just got lucky. Pure luck. And I'll take it whenever I can get it. So, yeah, I don't know why.
Whenever you employ risk management, Ryan, that's not luck. That's doing your due diligence. So good on you, my friend.
Now we know how good it is to be Ryan and how bad it is to be us. With that said, let's move on to the analysis. So I want to start here by highlighting what we've been watching so carefully throughout all of this uptrend. And that's the bottom Keltner channel. But this is just this is a level that's very common in confluence with a lot of other indicators as well. So for instance, on this chart, we're looking at Bitcoin on the daily. This blue line is the 50 EMA. That's virtually the same level that we're looking at when we look at the bottom Keltner channel. So I just want to make that clear because that is going to be the critical level and the turning point in this trend, in my opinion. I think if we fall and close strongly below that 50 EMA, you know, that's a lot of traders are looking at that critical level when it comes to like the continuation of this bull run.
So you're talking about the future lays in the current candle.
Yes.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh. Oh my gosh. This show could be canceled by tomorrow.
Yeah, CJ, I've been seeing a lot of people on Twitter kind of in agreement with you. And, you know, based on where we're at right now, you know, with pressing down against that bottom Bollinger Band, do you think we're going to rebound back up to 60K? Because, I mean, technically we look pretty postured to make a move upward. But, you know, so you think tonight we'll either know if we're reversing back up or if we're breaking down further?
It could take some time. Like I said, kind of at the beginning, I think the market is just really holding its breath. Another thing when it comes to the technical metrics is we're almost at a bearish cross on the MACD on the weekly chart. Same thing goes with that smooth moving average, that SMA. I think we close below that on the weekly, and we fall below that Keltner channel on the daily, right over here in the bottom right, then it's going to be very concerning for a lot of longs. I think if we look at these Fibonacci levels on the weekly chart, you know, the first one really doesn't come in until 45K. That's been a really strong level though. But then below that, you know, we really don't have anything till about, say, 38 to, you know, 32. So I'm not trying to scare anyone. I just want to examine the bearish case and look at these levels if we get another crash. But the reason why I'm more bullish, and I think what we need to understand about this crash is that it was very unique. It happened in the sense that, you know, we had this outage in power where nearly 50% of all the hash power on the Bitcoin network just stopped because, you know, these miners are concentrated in a very similar northwest area of China. And so we lost that difficulty. And then just 6 hours into that outage, some whale deposited 9,000 Bitcoin onto Binance. So I'm guessing that was some type of Eastern trader with just a more nuanced and informed view of that blackout, used that news event, possibly, you know, the Coinbase event too, with, you know, the executives selling their shares. But ultimately, what this led to was a decrease in price, like Monty had noted earlier. That whale suppressed price below some of those critical levels like 59K and 57K, where all of those liquidation stops are layered in the order book. So when they all get hit, it's not like somebody's taking the other side of that trade. It's just the machine of these exchanges liquidating everybody rapidly. So that happened, and that drove us down, very similar to what happened in March of last year when we had that liquidity crisis. However, this is the positive news. The positive news is that after that occurred, we got a 20,000 Bitcoin sent out of Binance back into a cold wallet. So that whale who had initially deposited the 6K may have just more than doubled their money on that particular short trade. So we don't know for sure if it was the same entity, but given the time frame, given the amounts, I think it's pretty interesting and pretty likely. And the last thing I'll allude to here before passing it back to you guys is Jan and Jan's chart of the SOPR. This is one of my favorite indicators from Glassnode. Jan and Jan are the co-founders of Glassnode, if you aren't familiar with their work. But as you can see here, when we get a large amount of liquidations, that's when this price line, this orange line, comes down. You know, when we have a really bullish price action in price, we'll see a lot of these levered longs come into the market, and that's demonstrated by the orange lines on the chart here. Once we get all of those liquidations flushed out of the market, like what we had very recently, once we hit this bottom reset point, historically, we've rallied every time after that. So while there's blood in the streets, while there's a lot of fear going on, I'm still optimistic because we have more Bitcoin in cold storage than ever before. And we flushed out all of those bad longs above 60K. So I think we're in the territory now where we can be prepared for a true, authentic rally. But we got to hold those Keltner channels. You know, we got to hold those critical levels. Otherwise, fear might elope the entire market.
Yeah. Okay. So basically what you're warning the crowd about is take a look at what happens at the close of that candle tonight. Then that may dictate the future.
So one thing to consider, what if the US government is undertaking these investigations and we find that out in the not too distant future? Is 38K likely or lower? You know, like how far could Bitcoin drop if it's found out that the US government is looking into major financial institutions over money laundering through crypto?
Yeah, it's hard to say for certain, Ryan, how far exactly it could drop. I mean, just a week ago, right, 51K seemed like not an impossibility, but it just seemed almost far-fetched. Now, I mean, like you said, we really don't have much in terms of support until this next level, all the way down here at 38K. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ominous negative news lingering, but you know, I've always been of the opinion that the news is kind of secondary to the technicals, and that, you know, as long as the whales are continuing to move it into cold storage and, you know, there's still retail speculation occurring, I think price will continue to go up. And I think, I mean, if I had to wager on whether or not the United States was going to come out with, you know, some actively anti-crypto stance, I don't see that happening. Yeah, they're going after some, you know, possible money laundering. Mm-hmm. I think that's fine. That's something that, you know, it needs to happen, but I don't anticipate that it will drive Bitcoin all the way back down to that next support price of 38K.
Monty, I completely agree with you, because I said this yesterday when I was on with Rob. If the government is going to step in, if they are actively doing anything, it's in cooperation with the exchanges. To your point, maybe looking into clients that are money laundering or anything such as that. They're not clamping down. AML KYC procedures have been in place since the beginning of time on all regulated US crypto exchanges. So yeah, it'll be in cooperation. It won't be a crackdown. And please, Ryan, I don't even want to hear about this thing dropping to where we get another 15.5 end of year price prediction. Okay.
No. I wouldn't go there. But if we did drop back down to 38K, I might actually buy Bitcoin again.
Fair enough.
I'd like
CJ, you raised your hand.
I don't want to interrupt you guys. I feel like that happens too often on the show. But think about every dip we've had. You know, this is the type of bull market where they've just been bought up relentlessly. We have really strong support at the Fibonacci level at 45K. If you look at whale maps, a lot of buyers stepped in at that level. They also stepped in at the 55K level. So, you know, I don't know. I don't think we're going below 45K if I had to wager on it.
Yeah, agreed. You know, listen, we can only hope. Folks, we're going to keep an eye on this. This is something that is obviously important to you. It's important to us. Mm-hmm. If you're looking for your altcoin fix, I did that yesterday with Rob. All right. We'll do some projects this week, depending on how this market shakes up, because what I'd like to do is be taping this episode tomorrow with a big smile on my face, and we were all wrong about it going down. So we'll keep an eye on it. Anything else, guys, you want to bring up besides the fact Ryan took all his principal off the table and people are going to just start calling him paper hands?
I'll sleep well.
I know you. I'm jealous, Ryan.
Leave a comment below, please. Let us know if you're bearish or bullish and why. We'd love to hear it, and we'd love to know.
And let me know what you think of my decision to pull my principal out of the market. I'm okay with that too.
this is where customer interaction goes too far. Actually, that's a good point, guys. You know, I would be interested in hearing what your all thoughts are on if what Ryan did is what you would do. And also to CJ's comment, tell us where you think the market's going, but also tell us why, because I want to hear from like the everyday viewer guys, like what they hear or what they read that makes them think it's going to go in one direction or the other. So, and again, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do smash Hulk, bash the like button. Also check out, I never point this out and I'm so bad at YouTube, I stink. The links below. We got marketrebellion.com. Check them out. $1 to start. Very, very cool platform. They get, and they're better than Trade the Chain. They give entry and exit points. We just give entry points. We don't care where you exit, you know, but no, I'm just joking. Check them out. Check them out for $1, marketrebellion.com, as well as tradethechain.com. First month or 14-day, no questions asked refund. And we will see you guys tomorrow, folks. Thank you very much.
Bye, everyone.